They told me I wasn't good enough to wear a badge. 23 years later, I raised my right hand and was sworn in as the director of the FBI. The same system that rejected me handed me the keys to it. This is the story they'll never put in a recruitment ad. The story of the man who failed the police academy and ended up running the most powerful law enforcement agency on earth. And it all starts with 3 seconds. 5:47 in the morning, rain on the asphalt. I'm on the line at the county police academy, lungs on fire, legs made of glass. 8 months of training, 2 jobs to pay for it, every single morning at 4 a.m. This is the final physical exam, the only thing standing between me and the badge, and I finished 3 seconds too slow. 3 seconds. The instructor doesn't even look up from his clipboard. He says 4 words. You don't belong here. I drive home. I don't tell my mother. I sit in my car in the driveway for 2 hours, gripping the wheel, staring at a rejection letter that still smells like fresh ink. Everything I ever wanted? Gone. Over 3 seconds. For weeks, I'm a ghost. Night shift stocking shelves. I mute the group chat. I scroll my old classmates' swearing-in photos at 3 a.m. and feel something rot in my chest. Then the phone rings. It's about Marcus, my old training partner. He passed. He made it. 2 months on the job. A routine traffic stop goes wrong, and Marcus doesn't come home. At the funeral, his little sister, she's maybe 9 years old, looks up at me and asks one question I will carry for the rest of my life. Are you going to catch the person who did this? I had no badge, no authority, no right to say yes, but I looked her in the eye, and I said it anyway. And that promise became the engine for everything that came next. I don't reapply to the academy. I go lower, a lot lower. I take a job as a records clerk in a federal building, filing paperwork for agents who never bother to learn my name. Minimum wage, fluorescent lights. Some nights I almost quit. I'd catch my reflection in the dark window and hear those 4 words on a loop. But here's what none of them understood. While they closed cases, I read them. Every night, every file I was allowed to touch, I taught myself how criminals think, how patterns hide inside boring data, how one overlooked detail can crack a whole case open. I earned a criminal justice degree at night. I ran until 3 seconds became 90 seconds to spare. And 2 years later, I walked into the FBI field office and applied again, not as a clerk, as an analyst. They almost passed on me too. Strong on paper, unproven in the field. But one supervisor, Special Agent Reyes, saw the mileage in my eyes. She took the chance. My first assignment was a stack of cold disappearances across 3 states that everyone else had given up on. Give it 6 months, they said. I cracked it in 9 days. How? I didn't sleep. I lived in those files. I built a timeline across every state until the pattern screamed at me. One detail buried in a witness statement from 4 years earlier. A single line nobody had ever connected to anything. That line led to a name. That name led to an arrest. And that arrest led to a girl being found alive. And for the first time since that rainy morning, someone looked at me and said the exact opposite of the instructor. They said, "You were born for this." After that, the cases got bigger. And so did the stakes. A public corruption ring that reached all the way into City Hall. A domestic terror cell I helped shut down 48 hours before it was set to move. A financial network laundering millions through fake children's charities. One by one, I closed them. And the promotions came. Field agent, then supervisor. Then special agent in charge of an entire division with 100 people looking to me for answers. The kid they said didn't belong now had a corner office and a security clearance most senators would envy. On paper, I was untouchable. But here's the part they always leave out of the highlight reel, the part nobody warns you about. The higher you climb, the more powerful the people you start to threaten. I opened an investigation that reached into a sitting senator's inner circle. And suddenly, doors that had always been open slammed shut. I got a warning, a quiet one over dinner, from a man who smiled the entire time. Some cases, he said, setting down his glass, end careers. When I didn't stop, they came for me. An internal review, anonymous complaints, leaked half-truths with my face attached. For 90 days, I was suspended. My name in the papers. Everything I had rebuilt from the bottom, hanging by a single thread. And this is the moment it could have all ended for good. But remember all those nights reading files? I keep records too. Obsessive ones. Every meeting, every date, every attempt to make me look the other way. When they came to bury me, I didn't beg, and I didn't run. I handed the Oversight Committee a paper trail so clean and so complete that within a week, the hunters became the hunted. The senator resigned in disgrace. The case I was ordered to drop became the biggest conviction of the decade, and the Bureau realized something that changed my life. The one man they couldn't buy and couldn't scare was exactly the man they needed at the very top. 23 years after 4 words ended my dream, I'm standing in a room under the seal of the United States, right hand raised. My mother in the front row, tears on her face. And somewhere in that crowd, Marcus's little sister, grown now, watching me keep a promise I made at a graveside when I had absolutely nothing to give. The oath ends, and the title becomes real: Director of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. You want to know the first thing I did in that office? I requested one old file from a county police academy, my own. I read the instructor's note one last time. You don't belong here. And I finally understood. He was right. I never belonged there. I belonged here. So if you're sitting in your car right now holding your own rejection letter, feeling 3 seconds too slow, hear me. The people who tell you that you don't belong are only measuring who you are today. They can't measure who you're willing to become. Failure isn't the end of the story. Sometimes it's just the first line. I failed the police academy, and it turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. If this story hit you the way it hit me, do me one favor. Tap that subscribe button and go watch the next video right now, because your climb to the top starts the moment this one ends.